In this video, we are going to create an expert advisor that utilizes the envelopes indicator to manage trading positions. Let's see how we can do that. We start Metaeditor by clicking a little icon or pressing F4. The first thing we do in our code is include the CTrade class from the standard library. This class provides simplified trading methods such as PositionOpen and PositionModify, which are essential for executing trades and managing positions. Next, we instantiate a CTrade object named Trade with default parameters. This object will manage all trade operations, including opening and modifying positions. We then define our strategy configuration parameters. These parameters are adjustable in the Expert Advisor properties. The LookbackBars parameter specifies the historical range for analyzing highs and lows, allowing a range from 1 to 1,000 candles. The MinCandlesBack parameter sets the minimum age for a valid high or low, which can be between 5 and 50 candles. The TrailingOffset parameter defines a safety margin for the trailing stop-in points, with a range from 1 to 20. The EnvelopesPeriod parameter sets the period for the envelope's moving average, while the DeviationPercentage parameter specifies the deviation in percentage for the envelopes. Lastly, the MAMethod parameter allows us to choose the moving average method, with the default set to simple moving average. We then declare global variables and handles to store the state between ticks and indicator data. The envelopes handle variable will hold the handle for the envelopes indicator, while the upper band buffer and lower band buffer arrays will store the upper and lower envelope values, respectively. The price data array is used to hold the open, high, low, and close price data. The onInit function is executed once at the start of the Expert Advisor for indicator setup. In this function, we create the envelopes indicator handle using the iEnvelopes function. This function takes several parameters: the symbol we are trading, the time frame for the indicator, the period for the envelopes, the shift value, the moving average method, the price type, and the deviation percentage. After creating the handle, we configure the arrays as time series using the ArraySetAsSeries function. Moving on, we have the OpenByPosition function, which is responsible for executing a buy order. In this function, we first get the current ask price using the symbolinfo_double function with the symbol ask parameter. We then execute the buy order using the PositionOpen method from the CTrade class. The parameters for this method include the symbol, order type, volume, price, stop loss, take profit, and a comment. In this case, we specify the symbol, set the order type to order type buy, define the position size as 0. 10 lots, which means we are buying 10 micro lots, use the ask price for entry, and leave the stop loss and take profit disabled. The comment for the position is set to envelopes position. Similarly, we have the OpenSellPosition function, which executes a sell order. Here, we get the current bid price using the symbolinfo_double function with the symbol bid parameter. We then execute the sell order using the PositionOpen method, specifying the same parameters as in the buy function, but setting the order type to order type sell and using the bid price for entry. The onTick function is executed on every tick and contains the core strategy logic. In this function, we first retrieve historical price data for analysis using the copyRates function. This function takes the symbol, time frame, starting position, number of candles to copy, and the array to store the data. We also load the envelopes values from the indicator buffers using the copyBuffer function, which retrieves the upper and lower band values. Next, we check the status of open positions. We initialize a Boolean variable has open position to false and an enum position type variable current position type to position type buy. We then loop through all open positions in reverse order to find relevant ones. For each position, we get the unique ticket number using the PositionGetTicket function and check if the position belongs to the current symbol. If we find an open position, we set hasOpenPosition to true and store the type of the current position before exiting the loop. Now we move on to trend detection and position management. The buy condition is triggered when the price crosses above the lower envelope. We check if the previous close price was less than or equal to the lower band and if the current close price is greater than the lower band. If there is no open position, we call the OpenByPosition function. If there is an open by position, we identify the low point for the trailing stop by finding the index of the lowest low in the lookback period using the iLowest function. We then check if the low index is at least as old as the MinCandlesBack parameter and if the current price is above the identified low. If both conditions are met, we calculate the new stop level by adding the trailing offset to the last low price and call the process_trailing_stop function to manage the trailing stop. The sell condition is similar but checks for a price crossing below the upper envelope. We verify if the previous close price was greater than or equal to the upper band and if the current close price is less than the upper band. If there is no open position, we call the open sell position function. If there is an open sell position, we find the index of the highest high in the lookback period using the iHighest function. We then check if the high index is at least as old as the MinCandlesBack parameter and if the current price is below the identified high. If both conditions are satisfied, we calculate the new stop level by subtracting the trailing offset from the last high price and call the process_trailing_stop function. The process_trailing_stop function is responsible for updating the stop loss for both buy and sell positions. In this function, we iterate through all open positions in reverse order. For each position, we select it using the ticket number and check if it matches the specified position type and belongs to the current chart symbol. We then get the current stop loss value using the positionGetDouble function with the position SL parameter. Depending on the position type, we check if the new stop level is higher than the current stop for buy positions or lower for sell positions. If the conditions are met, we call the PositionModify method from the CTrade class to update the stop loss. Finally, we press F7 to compile the code. If this was too fast for you or if you don't understand what all the code is doing, you may want to check out the premium course on our website or watch one of the basic videos first. If that works, we go back to Metaeditor by pressing F4 or clicking on the icon. Back in Metaeditor, we press Ctrl and R to start the strategy tester, pick the expert advisor that we have just created, enable the visual mode, and start a strategy test. We should see the expert advisor on the chart. If you are already a premium course member and have an idea for a video like this one, you can send us an email. In summary, we have learned how to create an expert advisor that utilizes the envelopes indicator to manage trading positions. We have coded this functionality using a few lines of MQL code. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.